Dumelang, Abseni, Ralocha, Sanwanani, Mulweni. Hello everyone, my name is Naledi Mfoloe and I am reporting live from Johannesburg, South Africa. Now, today we're dissecting a story that shows once again that white supremacy is not local. It travels, it mutates, it relocates, and sometimes it relocates with a South African passport. A white South African man, Matthew Grotta, has been detained in Australia after being caught participating in a neo-Nazi rally outside the New South Wales Parliament. Yes, you heard me, a South African from the very land that birthed apartheid, now standing shoulder to shoulder with Australian neo-Nazis chanting blood and honor, which is a slogan straight out of the Hitler Youth Playbook. Now we have to talk about this, right? We have to talk about why it keeps happening. And I believe we also have to talk about what it says about South Africa's exported racism. Now, Matthew Grotta moved to Australia in 2022. He was living there legally with his wife and working as a civil engineer. But earlier this month, he appeared in a group of about 60 Black neo-Nazis holding banners reading, "Abolish the Jewish lobby." Now, they were yelling slogans, throwing up banned Nazi salutes, and staging a protest organized by the National Socialist Network, which is a well-known neo-Nazi group in Australia. Now, the Australian government didn't hesitate. The Home Affairs Minister, Tony Burke, revoked his visa on character grounds, and this is what he had to say about it.
Yeah, the clock is ticking. Matthew Grotta is one of Australia's most notorious neo-Nazis and now has just 30 days to leave Australia of his own volition or he'll be removed. The North Sydney-based civil engineer was detained by Border Force officials at his home at 4 o'clock this morning and is now in Villawood Detention Centre in Sydney's west. Grotta will soon be removed from the country to his native South Africa. He has lived here in Australia for 3 years with a South African wife and a child. The Albanese government says there is no room for guests of our country who show hatred. Grotta was one of 60 men dressed in black who staged a protest on Macquarie Street in the Sydney CBD outside New South Wales Parliament on Saturday, November 8. Grotta was wearing an armband with the Hitler Youth slogan, "Blood and Honour."
He will remain until either he gets his own ticket to leave Australia or otherwise he'll be deported. And if someone turns up for the purposes of just abusing people and wrecking the place and damaging the cohesion, you can ask them to leave. And Australia's asked him to leave.
There is no place in Australia for those hateful views. Freedom of speech does not extend to being divisive and hateful about people in our community. We don't accept that.
The decision to remove Grotta was made by Home Affairs Minister Tony Burke. Because it's a ministerial decision, not departmental, Grotta has limited options to appeal and Burke believes it's unlikely he even attempt to lodge a court challenge.
Now, Australia, for once, did not dance around white extremism. They did not investigate for 6 months. They didn't say that we need to understand intent. They acted. He was detained immediately. His appeals are very limited and he's likely being deported. And this year, Australia even made the Nazi salute punishable by jail time at borders. They collaborate globally. And South Africa's far-right movement has been very loud internationally, pushing lies about, number one, white genocide, the persecuted Afrikaners and the collapse of civilization under black rule. So a white South African joining a Australian neo-Nazi rally is really not surprising. It's not new. Neither am I shocked because I believe it is a pattern. I'm not surprised. I'm not even slightly confused. It is a continuous pattern that we see where South Africa's white extremists have been exporting apartheid propaganda since 1994. Some even run YouTube channels. Some run organizations like AfriForum that lobby foreign governments with misinformation. We know that. We know them. Some even move to Europe, right? Or America or Australia. And immediately then they start to join the far-right groups. This is what many white South Africans do when democracy removes their racial power. They simply find another new home for their apartheid nostalgia. And here's the irony. South Africa, a black-led democracy, allowed this man to grow up safely, get an education, allowed him to get opportunities and to travel freely. And then he goes to Australia and fight for Hitler's ideology. Can you imagine the audacity? Now, Grata standing in that rally is not accidental. It's not just protest. It's a reflection of something much bigger. That apartheid was not only a political system, but it was a belief system, and in belief systems travel with people. These belief systems don't disappear because democracy arrives. No. They don't disappear because you immigrate. They don't disappear because you get a visa. When you grow up worshipping racial supremacy, all you need is a new environment where those beliefs are welcomed. And Australia's neo-Nazi networks became exactly that for him. And here's what's so interesting, right? White supremacists globally share the same narrative. That we're being replaced, we are the victims, multiculturalism is killing us, immigrants are destroying society. These talking points pop up in America's far right, in Europe's nationalist movements, in Australia's neo-Nazis, and yes, even South Africa's white genocide lobbyists. It's the same recycled paranoia, country to country, the same insecurity, the same story. Now, Australia calls itself a multicultural nation, and it is. But this story exposes something quite deeper, that many countries are welcoming white immigrants until those immigrants expose the racism that they brought within. And Australia accepted Grata as a skilled worker, but they didn't realize that he came with the ideological baggage. They didn't realize that he might bring apartheid values to the streets. Well, now they know, right? And this is why the minister said that they are not patriotic. They hate modern Australia. And he's right. Neo-Nazis don't love any country. They love whiteness. They love hierarchy. They love the fantasy of dominance. And they will tear down any nation, including the one welcoming them, just to maintain racial supremacy. Now, the story reminds me that our country exported two things after 1984. Some of the world's most powerful Black liberation ideas, and just some of the world's most stubborn white supremacist ideologies, you know? And I believe we see from this story that the second one is in action, right? Matthew Grata is not an outlier. He is the proof that apartheid didn't die at Globalized. White supremacy doesn't retire, but it really depletes. Australia acted fast, and I applaud that. But now the bigger question is, how many more are out there? How many more extremists left South Africa, not because they fled danger, but because they fled equality? And how many actually carry those same ideas into new countries, into new communities, into new movements? And how many will be allowed to spread the hate until someone else gets hurt? That's it from me. I do want to hear your thoughts though on this matter. Please, let's continue the conversation in the comment section. I'm Naledi Mfoloe reporting for EDNC, and while you're at it, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. That's it from me. Till we meet again, it is bye-bye.